Why don't you think dragons are going to win games?
Too low model count and not enough damage.
But suns are winning games because of it. Do they have enough
Their
damage?
damage is higher and they count as more models.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, I guess we'll wait and see whenever they decide to finally release dragons, because they're on a cargo ship somewhere. L.A.,
Yeah.
Maryland, China.
So I assume you read about all or heard all that about the backed up ships.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So I was doing a little more digging. Do you know at what point it's considered an emergency? Like what level? Like how many ships are backed up before like red flags start going up?
No, actually, two.
Who?
Two ships is an emergency.
Yes.
First of all, kudos to the logistics of whoever does that on a normal basis in a normal timeline. Secondly, lols.
Yeah. And then extreme emergency is 7.
I mean, I imagine too. Probably what they're doing is they're like, okay, food on this ship is going to come in before plastic dragons, and I don't think anyone's going to complain about that. We're going to make jokes,
Yeah.
but I don't think anyone's actually super mad. If someone's super mad, then I don't know, stop eating for a week, and then find
I
priorities.
yeah. My only thing that I'm upset about is the lack of communication.
Yeah, I think I agree. I wish. I think we've always wished there was a little bit more transparent communication, but at the same time with this one, I bet they probably don't know either. I'm sure they're probably having like
Yeah.
trying to find out like something. But you're
That's
probably you're like even saying like at least tell us you're trying, even if you don't
right.
know.
Right, because I said, I mean, the joke about, well, they just forgot about them is really like, did they?
I don't know. I figured it'd be a little bit, but I wasn't expecting Underworlds to have priority shipping. Okay, it is what it is though. Regardless, welcome to Strength Hammer episode. I don't know because it's been months since we recorded because I've ran and been part of multiple GW events and also got sick, and then work's been crazy too. So, hope you enjoyed that intro rant about dragons. But this is Strength Hammer. Dragons. We all want
See,
dragons.
if they ever have like the old timey map that says "There be dragons," GW is going to be like "There be GW."
Actually, now, probably after this episode, I'm going to go and find just a map of the port and just put Darby Dragons and just put arrow at one of the ships and just post that. And I'm stealing your meme. And since no one really listens to this show, I'll probably have full credit on that meme, especially since you don't have a Twitter, sir.
Yes, I do.
All right, go ahead. What's your Twitter?
Strength Hammer _# Hey Matt.
No one's done that yet, actually. I'm waiting for someone to do that.
No, again, no one watches this show. That's fine.
Yeah, exactly. We say whatever the hell
At
we
least
want.
no one watches the Big M Power Hour.
I don't know why. Actually, no, they do. People do watch it. Was it Anthony AOS coach? He enjoys your show.
Which
also,
I enjoy him. So.
Yes, and congratulations on 1 year, Matt.
Yeah, yeah.
Does that mean it's 2 years for Strength Hammer?
Just I think we might even be a little bit higher than that.
Sure, I'll take all the accolades I can get for free. Oh man, yeah. I don't. As you can see, we're not on full staff tonight because I just asked to have Matt on. It's probably gonna be a tamer show. I just realized, as I joked about earlier, that I helped as a judge at Orlando U.S. Open, and then also at New Orleans U.S. Open and
Nolans.
And I was like, oh, I should probably get on and talk about it, but instead of doing a full episode, I figured I'd just grab Matt, the OG Strength Hammer crew, and just kind of go back and forth and talk about it and give some insight and experience and just kind of see where the conversation goes. But probably sooner rather than later, because clearly I don't have a schedule I follow. We'll get the full crew on, and there's going to be a format change as well. We'll still talk about our fitness. We'll still talk about our games. But if anyone out there listens to a podcast called Distractable, it's a great one. I highly suggest you listen to it. I like the format of it. It's kind of fun. It kind of fits what I'm after, which, if you're listening to Big M Power Hour, I'm sure he makes jokes about me not really caring about fixing an army. Or
what do you mean you think? Don't you watch every episode?
I post every episode. um, but yeah, I don't know if it's due in part to the fact that I play test, so I kind of know the rules. So maybe it takes sort of the fun away of trying to fix an army, or it always takes away the fun of predicting stuff. But I kind of just want to talk about everything adjacent to Warhammer without going too in depth about this is what's doing well and this is the top meta and so did this, and it's just not what I'm interested in, so I'm not going to force myself to talk about it or record ever, apparently. But but I forced Matt to record whenever I feel like it.
Hey man, that's what I'm here for.
But we'll do it real quick. We'll keep on track. Matt, why don't you tell me about your fitness right now? How's it going?
Pretty good. Since it's been a while.
Mm-hmm. It's been a while.
gotten a lot of strides. We got so I went through a month of physical therapy because my back and pinched neck was acting up real bad. Mm-hmm. So they helped me, kind of point me in the direction of like exercises that help.
Great.
So I've been doing those, and I also found out through them that I can use a recumbent bike with no problems at all.
Fantastic. Yeah, I did see when I dropped off your super secret model. I saw that you had a nice recumbent bike.
Yeah. Yep. We have it right in the living room, so it's always in sight. So we've been trying to use that every other day. And then what's funny is, even beyond that, I've probably been getting the most of my fitness from mowing the damn lawn because it's been raining so much.
Yes, it has.
Like, I like to keep my lawn nice and short, and it grows so much in 1 week that I can't wait.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I cannot go 7 days.
You're on a 5-day cycle? Yeah.
I'm on like a 3 and 4.
Oh, dang. I haven't been on that short of a cycle since I bought the house, and I was carrying too much. Put fences up. No one can see it.
I'm thinking AstroTurf.
Yeah, there you go. I like that. I'll help you lay that. That'd be fun.
I actually looked into that. There's a lot of raking involved, so
less fun.
Mm-hmm.
But great. Yeah, no, you are looking a little bit more trimmer. So obviously, what you're doing is getting you where you belong.
A lot more water.
Right, and I've been pumpkin beer or pumpkin coffee or anything pumpkin. Except this month, I guess we're going to bleed into my fitness now. I'm trying to. So every year in October, I usually do Sober October. Obviously, this year
which we already see you're not doing.
Well, I'm doing it in a different light because alcohol's never really been a problem for me. So I did Sober October, but it was never really much of a challenge outside of I really like pumpkin beer and Oktoberfest style beers. So it was not drinking beer when I liked it the most.
Yeah.
So it was more of like a discipline thing, but wasn't really too much of a struggle. I just kind of got along without it. But I have a problem with chocolate and sugar. I really, really like it. I will try to sneak as much as I can. There's Halloween candy time. I actually just bought all the Halloween candy. I'm not opening it because my Sober October this year is to not eat like chocolate, sugary candy bar snack things needlessly to hopefully develop the habit to cut back. 'Cause I feel like it's gotten a little out of hand with myself personally. Not that I'm putting on weight, but like you can
too slow.
Yeah, exactly. So you can tell when you're over consuming something maybe you shouldn't. So like I said, alcohol is never really a struggle with me, but chocolate is. So
what you should do,
chocolate's off the menu
for Halloween, is just give out little baggies of whey protein.
No, protein's expensive and it's mine. Those are my gains.
Yeah, but then you could wrap it real tight and then
Oh, that's true. That's true. Maybe I could just hide it in other wrappers. You know what I mean? Like make them think they're getting candy.
Wrap it into like brick form.
Yeah, or since it's so tightly packed too, we have to put a few
all in your trunk.
Few razor blades in there just so they can open it a little easier. Those kids' fingers aren't that strong, like not yet. Well, once they get the whey protein, they'll get all the gains. It'll be great. But regardless, like I said, I'm gonna enjoy my pumpkin beer, but I'm cutting back on the chocolate. Outside of fitness, with that, my fitness has been I haven't been to the gym as much as I like because I've had a lot of travel for work. So doing like hotel exercises, a lot more walking. Not as much actual lifting. So, like I said, finally I'm not traveling this week as of recording, so finally get to move some weight and, kind of get back into that
if
groove.
you would have just brought your daughters with you, just carry them on your back.
That's true. All
Lift
that
while you
Peter.
walk.
That's true. That's true. Well, I'm excited because like my home gym is continuing to grow. Or our mutual friend and great person Dave gifted me a bunch of weights, like 45-pound weights, 35-pound, 25-pound, some dumbbells. Honestly, it's more weight than I need for a long time because it's more than I can deadlift. Which, if you are doing a home gym and you're looking for how much weight you don't need more weight than you can deadlift, because deadlift should be the heaviest thing you can do. So yeah,
I'm pretty sure he just tricked you to taking all those heavy rocks out of his back.
maybe. But yeah, I have a few more plans. I need to get a cardio type piece of equipment for the upcoming winter months whenever we don't want to run outside, and I could use a squat rack. I can squat now with what I have, but I want a squat rack that's its own thing, so I don't have to keep turning the bench into a squat rack, and I can just kind of go back and forth between the two. But anyway, that's my fitness, getting back into CrossFit and lifting, but staying healthy and focusing on diet as I can, and like I said, cut back sugar. So hope everyone else is doing well with that. So quick hobby. Matt, I know it's been a while. I'm sure you've talked about your plethora of events that you have attended and I've been unable to attend.
Yeah.
So you can skip past that. It's Big M Power Hour. Go check those out. But recent hobby. What have you been doing?
Primarily been working on Stormcast. I was testing to see if my scheme from the
real quick, don't forget, since I'm back in the basement now, everybody, if you're watching the VOD of this, the third guest has returned, my furnace. If you can hear it.
Thankfully, I can't hear it.
I don't know if you can hear it. Maybe the mic's doing well today, but it's on now.
But yeah, so I was a little concerned that my previous scheme wouldn't transition well over to the Thunderstrike armor.
Mm-hmm.
But it actually did pretty well.
Yeah, I love it.
My biggest concern was on the regular, there's enough room for 4 colors, and so my 4th color is that purple.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so, I was having a hard time finding a place for it on the new one, but what I ended up doing was going with that for, the handle wraps and the back of the shield. And I think it blends in pretty well. Other than that, I love the new Thunderstrike armor. It's super easy to paint.
Mm-hmm.
Now with the new Underworlds coming up for pre-order, I got to figure out what scheme I want to do for them, because I always do each one of the
core chambers.
The Underworld bands different.
Have you done Anvil Guard yet? Or not Anvil Guard?
Yes.
Hammers? Oh,
no.
Anvil. No. There's
the black ones, right?
Yes. Oh, I'm drawing.
So those are the first ones.
Okay, I'm drawing complete blank. I know it's Anvils of anyway.
Helden Hammer.
Thank you. Okay.
Helden Hammer.
Helden Hammer. Sigmar's last name. Got it. Just can't talk tonight.
Mr. Helden Hammer is his father.
Yeah, maybe you should do the Hammers of Sigmar. Do the Golden Boys.
So of course, I do have that. I wouldn't mind seeing how they turn out with the Vallejo Liquid Gold, like I used in my Custodes.
Yeah, that'd be good. We'll see. I'm not planning on buying the Underworlds right away. It's kind of fallen off around here, and I have the Daughters of Cain, so I
was it ever alive there?
It was kind of taken off over at our club. But yeah, I got the Daughters Warband, and I don't care about any other one right now. So if anyone ever wants to play, I bring those, and I put down the cards, and they tell me how to play the game, and I have fun. It's a good game. It's just, although I'm kind of curious because they have changed up the card mechanic to be a little different.
It's not so bad. So basically, all they're really doing in this new one is they're adding order cards.
Okay.
So, or faction cards, I mean. So
I follow.
Really, what we could do is we could make you a new deck that just uses your Daughter's cards, the new Universal cards, and then you'll never have to change your deck again.
Or I'll just keep using the Daughters only cards and lose every game, but have fun because I'm playing Daughters of Cain.
Well, like I said, the one thing they did that was super smart was they kept reprinting certain of the Universal ones.
Oh, okay.
So they came out with packs that are like, no matter what, these are staying legal.
Okay. I'd like that. Yeah. That's why I just use the army specific cards, because
Yeah.
I don't care to think about what's legal, what's not. I'd be playing Magic Gathering if I wanted to play that to an in-depth level. So.
Oh, I hear you.
But that's good. I know you do have some other hobby, but I guess I'll talk about it. You can jump in as you want, because it's partly due to my fault. So I painted my Stormcast half of the starter set. I made a trade for the Cruel Boys to get more of the Stormcast, and I gifted that to a good friend Cam. And we got a game Thursday coming up here, so he's finally getting into Warhammer, and some weekly Warhammer games are going to be happening. But yeah, I decided to coerce, trick you guys into doing a little Path of Glory with me. Originally, I was going to do my own sort of Path of Glory. I bought a bunch of Raging Hero, Daughters of Cain themed models, and they're actually hanging right here if you're watching the VOD. Something, after I had them, I love them. They're great, and I do plan to paint them up when I have the urge to paint something different and not GW, but kind of lost the urge of what I originally planned for that, which was to base it off of new, pop star, and kind of make its own thing and make it be an offset of the Terathian cult, my main army. But I just don't want to do a subset of my army yet. So it's
they'd be like the Harley Quinns to the Eldar, huh?
Exactly. I guess you could say that.
Yeah.
But I didn't feel like doing that, so I kind of just shelved it. I have the idea for the hero still. I'm going to set that aside, wait for them to eventually release another elf faction, whether it's Malarian or Tyrian or something else they decide to make up. And I'll pull her out
You
for
haven't
that.
been watching. You haven't been watching the Power Hour, because we've already talked about the Umberneth to death.
Oh, there you go. All right. But yeah, shelving that hero idea, she'll come back, and just leaving these models just for whenever I feel like paying something different, and so that way Matt can laugh at me because I technically have a backlog now. Yeah.
Hey man, gray is beautiful.
What else have I done? Oh, I created a custom hero for my Blades of Corn army, which I might actually bring out here this weekend at a little RTT. Yeah. I kind of want to.
Playtests are playing corn. Playtests are playing corn.
No, I'm trying to just play and see if I can't use my generalship to take myself to a win, as opposed to just relying on a good list, and go in getting 2 or 3 wins in a day. I actually want to try, and if I lose all 5 or all 5, if I lose all 3 games that day, I lose all 3 games that day. I'm in a mood, and that mood's to put Scarbrand on the table and go fight me. Fight me now.
You just hope you find a
Yandrasta?
Yeah.
Oh, you better believe if there's an Yandrasta on the board. It's just my whole army off to the side, Scarbrand right in front of Yandrasta. This is all that happens. I don't care about anything else, and I'll dunk on her in the first turn, and then I'll be tabled by turn 4 because I'm playing Stormcast against Blades of Corn. Yeah. But yeah, and so we're doing a little Path of Glory. It's gonna be a slow grow. By December, we have to do 750 points. Then 3 months after that, 1,500, and 3 months after that, 2,000. I'm using it as an excuse to actually do Karajan Overlords, which have always been back and forth for me wanting to do them. The winter months are a great time to be a dwarf painter. In my mind, I just paint dwarves in winter. That's when I painted my last dwarf army. It was fine. And on top of that, I am starting a 40k Crusade army. Some other friends who used to play Warhammer long ago, well before I even knew them, got back into it. They were originally fantasy, but they jumped on 40k. They were excited. They needed someone to jump on a very long-term slow grow Crusade. And I said, yeah, sure, why not? I'll do Drukhari. So I have until April to paint 750 points of Drukhari. And it's been kind of fun, because they don't really know who I am or what I do, or that they just know I like this stuff, and it's kind of fun to sitting there and holding everything back in and going oh, I guess I could paint this the week before because it's 750 points. But I just ordered the models. I'm actually gonna put some effort into it and try and do some edge highlighting on the Drukhari stuff. I think I might push the paint with it since it's such a long-term project, and I have no no need or reason to actually have a 40k army done for any reason. I have a Dark Angels army if I feel like playing, so it's turning into a bit of a painting project. I haven't chose a color scheme yet, but yeah, there we go. Crusade and Path to Glory happening for me here. That's my hobby, and I guess
See, that's kind of my issue. Like, so I've been kind of getting a little bit of the itch to play 40k, but I don't have an army anymore.
I mean, I this group is pretty well set. I'm the outsider of this group. Like, it's a bunch of high school friends, and they know each other well. I know a few of them because, like I said, I'm friends with them in real life. One of them, he was part of the same guild in World of Warcraft back when I was playing really hardcore with that game. But I don't really know everybody, so I can't just invite you in. But
No, that's not what I was asking at all.
but boy, here's what I'm saying is, if you want to go alongside me, we can do our own little thing too. Because, like I said, you have April doing a 750 point army. I mean, if you're doing Custodes again, like, just paint a model.
Yeah, I'm like, well, I have Gulliman and I have 5 Custodes, so I'm about halfway there.
No, if you're
So that's the thing.
if you're gonna do this, you're not gonna put in Golem, you're gonna be one faction. If it's not in that book, you are
What are you
not doing it.
talking about?
No,
What are you talking about?
I will do this with you on one condition. If you pick one book, and if the data sheet is not in that book, you cannot use it.
I still have my Imperial 1 book, so that's...
Nope, I'm not listening to that. That's outdated. You need to buy a...
But I was going to get a whole thing, and it was going to be awesome.
You see, if it doesn't have this logo on top, Matt, it doesn't count anymore for me. There you go. That's
I don't think I have any books with that logo.
probably not. It's been a while since we've even thought about 40k. I buy 40k books for the army that I have, and I forget to even like really read it past the lore.
Well, so I was perusing the Warhammer Reddit, and
r/competitive 40k.
No, our Warhammer.
Okay.
And this is a couple weeks ago, so good luck trying to find it now. But I believe it was the person that runs Faux-Hammer, the Faux-Hammer YouTube channel.
Okay.
Brought out a model of I believe his name's Typhus.
The Death Guard champion.
Yeah, holds up the scythe.
Yeah.
So so he posted a picture of him where he had primed it reflective chrome and then primed holographic over top of it. It looks amazing, and it makes me want to do Grey Knight so bad. But then I look at the Grey Knight models, and then I don't want to paint them so bad.
I know. Like I said, I've said it before, when the new edition of 40k came out last year, whenever, I was all ready to just go full Primaris of my Dark Angels, bite the bullet, figure out how to have Deathwing and Ravenwing within the Primaris section. It looked like they were going to do it. And then GW decided to just put another Band-Aid on top of that Band-Aid and said, nope, we're not getting rid of it. So, not that I'm upset, because Dark Angels are still pretty good.
Saves me money.
Yeah. But I decided to go with Drukhari. One, because I almost had the army before, thanks to a good purchase at a club, but then that turned into the club mats, which I'm not lamenting that. That was a great thing to do. And now I get to build the army the way I want, truly. But, yeah, it's... I don't know. I lost the train of thought. It's gone. Oh, well. That literally... Yeah, that train of thought just really went away. Wow. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, the last time...
I hold on. It's back on the track. I want to have an army where I don't need to worry about it being Primarist. The Drukhari models might be outdated after a certain point of time, and I'm sure they are. They'll probably come out with new ones as they go. But an Incubi is an Incubi. A Witch is a Witch. A Cabalite Warrior is a Cabalite Warrior. There's not going to be a Primaris Cabalite Warrior. They're not going to write that lore. They don't.
Right.
I'll have an army that will probably just be 2,000 to 2,500 points and just stay there, and I'll be happy with it.
See, that's one of the things that I worry about as well. As much as, again, whenever I was doing 40k, I was Grey Knights all the way, with a splash of Death Watch and a splash of Space Wolves. But it's like, the models are so old at this point. And it's like, okay, so it didn't happen this time.
And
Could it be next year? Could it be 2 years? Could it be 3 years? Who knows? They might just be done with Grey Knight models. I mean,
yeah, I mean they just redid the whole Black Templar line out of nowhere. I don't think
right.
it's like
Again, one of those
or
top premium armies that everyone's scratching at the bit to get to, you know?
yeah,
Um, but like I said, with the Custodes, those are all brand new, well, quote unquote, brand new models for 40K.
right.
And we know they're not getting updated anytime soon.
Yeah, they're gonna be long lasting, so you're probably good. But we'll see. Like I said, I'm excited for both of the campaigns I'm gonna be part of here. Also, I did announce the Terrathian Invitational 2021 is coming. It's gonna be December 18th. Working on that final list. Looking forward to that. It's small. There'll be pictures on Twitter. If you didn't get an invite, sorry. It's small. It's local and kind of doing it right before Christmas.
Better luck next year.
Yeah.
See, I told you should have done it on Christmas because you know almost everyone has off. So
That's true. That's true. But I would love to see Bill Sousa's face to see if he would risk the family rage to just to get that win. I think he probably
well, after he says no, you have to then like send him a note just letting him know that it'll be an ITC event. And
yeah, I mean, congrats to Bill for recent win, top general at New Orleans U.S. Open.
with his Grub Slanesh list. Huh?
I love that he just brings whatever the heck he feels like. I love it.
I'm saying he's just flexing at this point.
He's flexing and he's a great guy. He should flex. He
Oh no,
deserves it.
absolutely.
Like keep
In Austin, I honestly fully expect a whole beast of chaos with nothing but Bray herds.
I don't think he's going to Austin.
Of course, I don't know.
I
I
mean,
can't keep track of what he is and isn't doing.
he doesn't need to go to Austin. He showed up to the event he wanted to win. He won it. He's like, I don't need to plan
Yeah.
for another one. It's Bill
Yeah,
Sousa.
that's why he's going to show up in Austin, and he's going to be like, "Hey, you, I'm in the tournament." And he'll be like, "Yes, sir." And then he's going to literally have all Bray herds and like one unit of Nurglings, and then that's
Well, anyway, I guess we should get into it because it was a fun little almost half-hour chat about 40K and other stuff. Yeah, that's what the listeners here want. Oh wait, we don't have listeners. That's great.
yeah.
So, basically, there has been 2 Warhammer U.S. Open events this year. First one in Orlando, Florida. Second one in New Orleans, Louisiana. I was asked by Mike Brandt because of my knowledge of Age of Sigmar and the fact that I already do stuff with Games Workshop on playtesting, and he trusts me to run the Age of Sigmar stuff at Nova Open for those past couple years to be an AOS judge. Now, I wasn't a TO role. I'm officially a part-time on-call person. So let me say that. So be very clear and transparent for everybody here. Super serious. Yes, I do get paid at these events. I'm technically an employee, but I'm part.
Chill out.
Yep. Shill.
Everyone, you got to tweet strength hammer _# shill # sellout.
Sure, go ahead. I don't care. Have fun. Do whatever you want. So going to Orlando, Florida. Obviously, walked in. The full-time person who was the quote-unquote TO. I was relied heavily on for the rules since I play the game. He was learning Age of Sigmar, but obviously was more of a 40K person. But he knew how to run an event, so he knew BCP. He knew what it meant, and got along just fine. I arrived. Actually, let me say this too: the whole U.S. events team. I won't shout out at their names. I'm not sure if they want to be shout out of that yet. Maybe I'll ask them in Austin. But they're a great group of guys. They're fun to be with. They are knowledgeable. They're willing to make sure that everybody that shows up has a good customer experience, more so than anything else. That's Mike's motto if you attend Nova, and also for these events. Everyone leave with a smile on your face. That's the goal, and it's kind of fun because we're having fun. We're doing tournament, but we want to make sure we take care of everybody. I think Mike's really going out of his way to make some great events here. Still a lot more to go with things, for sure. And it's just gonna, strength to strength each year from what it looks like, and even from event to event, I see the small improvements that we're trying to make behind the scenes to make it smoother, more efficient, and everyone have a good time. But I digress. So Orlando goes really well. Excuse me. It was a very laid-back event. There really wasn't any super hard questions. This was before the FAQ and before the FAQ's FAQ. So, yeah, we were going way back. Was it August? But yeah, it was a very chill crowd. Everyone just was kind of there to have a good time. There's a few people being competitive, but even the people that brought like the meta lists and all that sort of stuff, they weren't really the ones swinging on the top tables. So really enjoyed it. I absolutely loved the fact that there's actually a real life, real size Gal Miraz that exists now, and GW paid for it. And when I'm at these events, I always say to go to the US guys, hey, do you guys need me to carry this anywhere? And they're like, yeah, take it wherever you want. It's freaking heavy. It is. It's very heavy, but I don't care. I lift weights so I can carry this hammer around. That's been my purpose in life with all this CrossFit, and it's successful. There's also a Thunder Hammer for 40K. It's not as good because it's not Gal Miraz.
You know what you should do?
What?
Stormcast cosplay.
I thought about it, but traveling with a Stormcast cosplay would be pretty hard.
Just tell GW that you need first class because you have to go in costume.
Maybe I just have them make the costume and just ship it everywhere. I mean, actually, in Austin, you may see me, if everyone gets unruly, I will walk around with that hammer. I would just carry it on my shoulder, and you go ahead, ask me a question. I dare you, ask me a question. No, so yeah, 5 rounds for the Age of Sigmar. Tied in nicely with the 40K. 40K is doing 8 rounds. They're doing pods, so they go an extra day. But
8 rounds, holy God!
Yeah, they're extreme. I kind of like what they're doing, but I don't know if that's what the Age of Sigmar community wants. And obviously, we need to get more people before we think about doing the pods as they do there. But it's a really neat system. And outside of that, the one thing I do like is the rounds for whenever Age of Sigmar does happen on Saturday, Sunday, the rounds for Age of Sigmar and 40K start at the same time, because there's these benchmarks essentially that someone will call out during the game. So and maybe an hour in, like, hey, you should be fully deployed by now and maybe starting your first turn, like very loose things. It's not like you need to be at this point by this point, but kind of help keep people on track and keep them aware of, oh, maybe we're getting behind and we need to kind of pick up our pace. and to be fair, some people do that and other people don't, and then it's, hey guys, we got 5 minutes left and you're at the top of turn 2, so we're gonna have to help you walk through this game at least through the end of this round. Haven't really had any issues with that. People seem to understand. It's like, okay, we got.
Now that does seem to be the biggest issue with 3rd edition.
I would say sometimes it is a player thing, but more often than not, it seems to be a matchup issue. In New Orleans, there was one. It was death versus death. So regrowing, not dying, extra saves. I looked at the matchup before the game began, and I said, we're probably have to talk this one out, and we did. But both players were really, really calm, really kind, and like we worked through it. And there's a few things we had to roll. It's like, okay, well, what matters? Like, okay, this shooting, this magic, and with the judge there, you help speed through it to get to a natural conclusion as deep into the game as possible. Obviously, you're not going to take turn 2 to turn 5, but you get to turn 3 and see who would have won. It's No,
let me ask. So, like I said, I know this has not been the case in the other tournaments that I've been to so far. For your events, were you literally like having a judge come over to talk things out?
So not always. It's judges, and it's announced. Judges are available if you need that. Okay. Most people are able to do it just fine on their own. And when a judge comes over to talk it out, it's usually to help. Let's get through the dice quickly. Let's make sure like no one's fast rolling like in a negative way. The judge is never like, anytime I've had to help people talk through a game at these 2 events, it's never like, one person didn't quite understand the concept, and I told him point blank, I said, I'm not here to tell you who won this game. I'm here to help you find that conclusion to the game that you're both satisfied with and acknowledge. So, you know, with that expectation, it hasn't
Which
been
means
an
that
issue.
person was losing.
No, actually, he ended up winning by 1 point. Like I said, we had to roll out a magic phase, a priority, and some critical shooting, but we were able to get through it. So, but yeah, like so back to what I said. Orlando was very chill, very cool, very nice mix of armies, and it was fun. I am very happy and very proud to say that I'm the first official AOS rules judge employed by GW. I guess that means I'm a professional now, and I better start acting like it. But yeah, the one thing I will say about Orlando, I like the venue. Orlando's not really my favorite town, but the venue is really nice. And at GW, as a company, obviously we ran out of the Stormcast Slaves of Darkness exclusive model for the event. I think it was just woefully unprepared for how much people wanted that. There was tons of the Necron model, which I think lesson learned from GW. No one cares about Necron models, like exclusive Necron models.
I think everyone appreciates Necron, but I don't think there's a very small amount of people that want to play them.
Necron isn't an army I think people are just going to have on a whim.
Yeah.
Like everyone has a Space Marine army, everyone has a Stormcast army. It's likely someone has a Chaos Warrior army or like the Slaves of Darkness now. But yeah, it's very much overproduced of the Necron model, but that's fine. It did well. Quickly sold out of the Slaves of Darkness model. So yeah, it wasn't until now, granted, in New Orleans, the second event, they remedied that. Even at the end of the last day, it seemed like everybody who wanted one got one. There was plenty still on the shelf still. So, you know, let's see. They learned a lesson from the first one and corrected it in the second one. So
good. Yeah, that's why I always say for these, they should just come up with like a terrain piece or an objective marker.
Well, we did get event exclusive objective markers. I'm doing it for each event, and that comes with the goodie bag.
I'm talking like, you know, like how they have the like every time they come out with a new edition, they come out with the objective marker terrain. It's almost more like scat terrain. Yeah. I think if they did something like that, way everyone can use it.
That's fair. That's a fair point, but I don't know. Like I've seen people that want for like winning events, these JW events. Like, can we have like an exclusive model where it's just 10 people have this model? And it's like, yeah, that's a great dream, but until 3D printing gets to be as good as it is and GW decides to use it, that's probably not happening.
No.
But
that's
I appreciate
a pipe dream and a half.
I appreciate that pipe dream. That's a cool pipe dream. But yeah, for now, I think they'll just probably rotate different ones. But yeah, so let's say Orlando went well. Great time. Then New Orleans happened, so I flew into New Orleans, and I knew Orleans was going to be a little bit more competitive. We're closer to Texas. I knew some of the bigger names coming, like from the Northeast. So we had, Caleb Walters, who took best overall, Bill Souza, who took best general, and then, like I said, I met a bunch of Texas boys and a bunch of people from Nova, actually. So the Northeast crowd, and then obviously Martin Orlando, who came in and decided to say, "I have best painted. All of you, shut up."
Martin Orlando didn't go to the city he's named after, huh?
He didn't.
It's a miss. It's a miss, Martin.
It is. I mean, it's. Hey, he came down. He did his piece. And
you could have had two. You could have had two best painted awards instead of just one.
Actually, there was some very stiff competition you would have had at Orlando.
You calling Martin out?
I am. I think between the two, I think he took the easier route on the competition for best painted.
Shots fired.
Everything was good, but yeah, Martin would have been a little bit harder to choose back in Orlando. But we'll wait and see. I think he's happy. Part of it's just knowing your competition, and maybe Martin knows that better. So, but
are you saying people in New Orleans are lazy?
No. I'm just saying that it was just the crowd. I think the crowd there showed up more to compete on the table as opposed to hobby. Like I said, and that said, I want to say there was still great hobby there. The people who got chosen for best painted absolutely deserved it. So I'm not trying to put anyone down here. I'm just trying. I'm trying to put Martin down, saying he took the easy way out. There we go. Love you, Martin.
Here, Martin. All you need to do is freehand some koi fish on those robes, Boom.
Exactly. Each scale better be highlighted on those koi fish.
Oh, absolutely.
Without
That's
doubt.
implied.
Yeah. Okay. I figured, but I just wanted to clarify for the audience at home.
Highlight, low light, all blended together.
So
Should make Luis blush.
I walked.
That's a Warhammer Plus reference for the room.
So I walked into New Orleans, and I'm not going to get into anything because I don't know the whole story myself, and it was one of those stories where I'm like, I don't want to know. But I got walked in and told, hey, you're running Age of Sigmar. And I was like, but I'm just a rules judge. It's like, well, no, okay, now I'm TO. Okay. earning this minimum wage. Well, slightly above minimum wage. All right. But still, like I said, that's what was needed. I was there to do a job. Stepped up, did it. I want to give a shout out to my co-TO, John. He was a local, and he runs the local scene down there. He plays both 40K and Age of Sigmar. Very knowledgeable in both games, and just a fantastic human being. Matt, I'm hoping one day that me, you, and him get to run an event together because you would love him. He was such a gem, and I'm really like, he took not only like the physical burden off of walking around and helping reset. Like, I mean, he set the whole hall himself because he was there a day before me.
Wow.
But also, like, he does the one thing that is rare to find in someone to TO with you, which you do very well, Matt, which is take the mental burden off, because that mental burden is the hardest part for TOing, for me at least. And being able to share that load was great, especially when I walked in and realized I was the TO. So, like, really, we were co-TOs. I don't want to say, like, I was the TO, blah, blah, blah. Like, we were making decisions together. We were talking everything out, kept each other informed. And happy to say that by the end of it, like, he was recognized for that, and he will continue. He's now essentially doing what I'm doing. So he's going to travel to these events when able, because, like I said, we're part-time on call. So if we're ever not able to make an event, that's fine. So he's going to be a standard member of the U.S. Events team, and I'm really happy for that. Like I said, it's very likely, Matt, one day me, you, and him will run an event together, and it'll be the best damn event ever.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so New Orleans also went well. I said there was a little bit more competitiveness going on, so we had a few more questions to answer, and yeah, and I do want to say I really love. I received and John received so much positive and not so positive, rightful critiques back and forth. Like, I don't think anyone had a single problem with how we ran the event, as far as making the rules calls and keeping up with everything. I'm really appreciative of that, because it's nice to be recognized as a person, even if I have to make a tough rules call, or maybe it's something that's been set in the event that you don't agree with. People let me know that, and they don't make it feel like this is your fault and blah blah blah. It's like hey, I don't like, was it marking territory? There's one scenario that we had in both events. It's pretty much the auto win turn 3 if you have more objectives. One, I think it's marking territories. Yeah. And like I said, after the first event, we got the feedback. I wasn't really the head of anything. I was just a rules judge, so I didn't really say anything other than like to pass the critiques along. Now that I think I have a bigger role as far as trying to make sure we run great events alongside John, we both agreed we're going to try and get a different one for Austin. So that's the biggest different scenario, battle plan. Okay. That's the biggest critique we had, so we're trying for it.
I mean, there's always Unchained Colossus.
I said it's. I think we have a good chance to switch it out before the next event. There's always a chance that someone higher than us says no, we want to keep it consistent. In which case, we will change it next year, and we'll be more aware of it, because sometimes you're locked.
We'll also have new plans by then.
I mean, that's very true, but we are aware of all the critique, and people have sent it to me. I'm really appreciative, because everyone wants these events to be great, and I want them to be great, and it's going to get there. So.
So would you say that the number one kind of complaint was the marked for death?
The marking territory?
Yeah.
I'd say so. That's it. And I don't want to even call it a complaint. It's more of just like, hey,
critique.
It's critique. Yeah, let's put it as critique. I think it wasn't as much of a big issue in Orlando because it was round 3, so people finished early. and just got to be done for the day early. And like I said, it wasn't as super competitive at that one as far as the general populace.
What round did it happen at New Orleans?
Two. So people basically had 2 lunches in a row.
Interesting.
Yeah. The order has changed. We're gonna see what we can do to get that adjusted. Because the scoring's off to the way we're handling scoring for these. Now the scoring is going to be set for the way we handle it for these events, so battle points and all that sort of stuff. So it was really just a 1-0, which didn't really separate the field, which is probably what caused the issue. And so we're going to do our best to adjust. We've already suggested it. We've already talked about it. So we're going to put in our hey, we'd like to do this scenario instead, and hopefully we'll be able to bring good news to everybody in Austin next month. So, did
you hear any other kind of similar amount of feedback with something that people would like to see changed?
Outside of that, I said, this was one that I heard. I didn't even think of that. Did bring up prize support.
What did GW prize support look like?
So there's for Age of Sigmar, there's the hammers, there's certificates.
Right.
Obviously, during the event, if you're doing good sportsman, we're given drink tickets to hand out, whether you want a Pepsi or a beer. So there's that sort of stuff going on. But and then there's the 2 big awards, which are these custom hand forged amazing pieces for the best general and best overall. But someone said well, can we get models? And as soon as I heard that critique, I was like, wait, why aren't we giving models? Why can't we give a gift voucher? Why can't we give models and ship them to the person's house? Because we know people are traveling to that. So I suggested it. I think it's a good idea, and I think it's just one of those things that maybe we just all kind of didn't think about. Maybe I can't say. Like I said, I'm not thinking, and I'm not in the meetings with the true full-time staff running this, but I definitely heard that, and I was like, I don't know. Let me suggest that.
I think it would be interesting. I think you could get away with if you made a Stormcast holding a trophy or something. And that goes to everybody that makes top 10.
That's a good idea.
You could probably run that. You could probably run that same model for 2 or 3 years.
For sure. I like what Star Wars X-Wing used to do when they had their store events. The top cut, which I think it was top 4, got a challenge coin. One side was Empire, one side was Rebel. But why couldn't there be a challenge coin this year? And it's Destruction logo on one side and the Warhammer logo on the other side. Cool stuff, limited stuff like that. So I'm suggesting that sort of stuff, and it's great to hear that type of feedback too.
That would be kind of cool if you had a the challenge coin says, instead of it being a traditional challenge coin, it can be Gur Survivalist or something.
Yeah.
And each one can be based off of the realm that we're in.
Yeah, because I don't believe challenge coins are that expensive to make a limited run on.
Oh, I doubt it.
It's things that I have suggested or will be suggesting as I can. Like I said, obviously Austin will be kind of as it was before. The big change we're trying to hope for is to get that different scenario in there. So we hope we can do that for you. But yeah, the events themselves just seem to run smooth. Once again, kudos to the Age of Sigmar side to both events. I love it. This happened at Nova too. I love it whenever 40K judges walk over to the Age of Sigmar, and it's like, hey, everything okay? What's going on? Yeah, I just needed a break, so I came over here because it all is calm and works over here. So kudos to the Age of Sigmar people for knowing how to play your game and be good, chill people.
What we need to do is we need to get some Double Turn Me Daddy shirts for the 40K judges.
I don't know if I can hand out my own merch since I'm technically an employee, but I want to.
If you don't charge for it.
That's true. That's true. I became a show for GW so I could just show my own stuff.
So on the opposite hand, what are some of the more common positive feedbacks you heard?
I think people really enjoyed just how tight the event was, getting things done on time, starting on time. Another bit of critique we're looking at too, might be stuck this, is terrain. We're trying to improve the terrain. In had good and bad, tried different things. So Austin hopefully will be a little bit better for you. But as far as good, people,
I do have some questions about terrain. So
yeah,
let's go back to positive feedback, and then we'll
okay,
hop over to terrain.
okay, so positive feedback. People seem to really enjoy the event as a whole. They felt like appreciated customers. They definitely loved that it's a little bit more grand. That I know the people who got to the best painted, getting professional photos done of their models, which will appear somewhere on the Warhammer community site at some point. I don't know when. Please don't DM me. But I know that was really appreciated.
Yeah. Okay, that's cool. All right. So for the terrain,
Mm-hmm.
because I had this question as well. Was it all Games Workshop terrain that you can like buy or could have bought from the store?
Everything is Games Workshop terrain. Some of it was old fantasy. Some of it's Age of Sigmar. And like I said, it was corrected in Orlando before we began, but with New Orleans, I had a tighter schedule coming in. There were some issues with the labels on the boxes. So there's those old 40K craters out on most of the tables. Like I said, that's no one's fault. It's just, we just made sure we organized properly when we put stuff away. So
if you're going to complain about craters, you can go home.
Yes, you shouldn't see those in Austin. But yeah, okay, that was an issue. We found personally, me and John saw a couple terrain pieces. Usually it's those storm vaults with the pillars attached, like really high. Like, okay, that's not necessarily bad, but there's a few instances where it caused a little bit of gaminess that me and John as TOs like feels like it's not person's wholly within the rules and rights of the rules, but we feel that we failed the people having more of an NPE experience on that because we put that terrain on the table. So we're kind of correcting that sort of stuff too. I feel John and I were probably more hardly critiquing broadly than anyone else was to us.
Yeah.
I know.
Well, I think that's a good. That's a good habit for a TO to have, is to be hypercritical of yourself.
Well, the other thing too is we want to make sure we keep a tighter control. Like I said, it didn't get away from us, but we didn't really have a set plan in place because, like I said, I walked in and it's like, hey, you're running the show, and then obviously John wasn't expecting to be part of that as well, considering he was a local. Was supposed to be just part-time for that one event as opposed to what he became, which is great. But we want to make sure we're tighter and more clear on here's how the scoring is going to work, here's this, and just tighten that up. Then that will make it easier for us too, going from round to round, and especially near the end of the last round when people are trying to finish things up and we're trying to finish things up and get the award names to Mike so he can do his PowerPoint for the big award ceremony at the end. So I said more critiques, I think, from the team itself as opposed to people abroad.
So, trees.
Yes.
Was it the old trees or was it the new trees?
It's the old trees.
Honestly, I think that's the way it should be.
No one really complained about the trees. They are, well, okay. There's a few because the way they're stored, and it's like you're dealing with a couple hundred trees. Like sometimes they break off when you get a chance to glue it, but they are glued down, so they are in place. We don't have the leaves on them, thank goodness. But yeah, I'm fine with the trees. I don't mind the storm vaults once we correct the few that have like the odd pylons attached in kind of inopportune ways. And then actually, what I really liked, it was an idea that they stole for 40K. So with 40K, there's no real area terrain. It's always like, oh, you're next to this terrain piece, but there's no real basing. And since GW doesn't have official basing for terrain, we're not just going to slap everything on foam. So what 40K did is they cut out clear acrylic templates to put the terrain on and said, this is officially part of this whole terrain piece. For Age of Sigmar, they took that old wood cutout shape and they made a bunch of those extra. So what we could do is we could put those down and put scatter terrain on it. So it counted as cover, but it wasn't actually the trees.
Okay, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, and then there was some of the old towers and mansions and stuff like that from Fantasy, which I heard a few jokes about, but nothing too serious. I mean, let's all be honest. Those old Fantasy terrain pieces got are better for Age of Sigmar than they ever were in Fantasy. So let's enjoy them
Oh
again.
yeah, and also on top of that, they are what 25, 30 years old at this point.
Yeah, they are. Can't deny that.
I would again though. If they brought if they brought the mansion back for pre-order
I
or
would
made to
buy it.
order,
I'd buy it right away.
I'd buy two.
Yep. I
So let's see. So what else we got? What makes a Games Workshop event stick out from a Nova or an Adepticon?
It's definitely more of a focus on the specific games. That's immediate standout. So obviously at Nova you have plenty of games going on, but at Games Workshop it's all Warhammer all the time. 40k Age of Sigmar. Maybe it'll eventually grow into bring Middle Earth in or something. Who knows? But it's all about those two games. So you have full GW support there. As far as we get a preview Saturday night, we've been getting previews of animations from Warhammer Plus early, which has been great. There's trivia. I mean, the trivia.
You don't watch Big Power Hour at all.
No, I don't. Yeah, it's and there's also the full storefront that has Forge World, Age of Sigmar, and 40k. And like I said, there's new releases during the Saturday during the event, so they actually put them out for sale that day. So yeah, I think it's just the extreme focus on the games itself. I don't want to say Nova doesn't care about customer support or customer care, because they absolutely do. That was our focus, and I think GW. I think Mike took that philosophy and just brought it over to the GW event. So
Yeah.
I guess the good news is you could have a Nova feeling event on that customer focus all across the country now.
Yeah, that's actually I was going to ask if you could feel a little Nova in these events.
Oh, for sure. There's a little bit at Orlando. I kept getting in the mindset, and it's just like, wait, nope. I'm technically an employee right now. I'm not a volunteer. Like, I had to keep reminding myself of that. And New Orleans, that wasn't the problem. But the fun thing is the halls looked exactly like the halls in Nova. Like the AOS was like big and open and all that stuff, and the 40k was low and like the lights were low. Like there were some issues, and I think they acknowledged that critique on the 40k side. But yeah, it was very Nova looking, and then obviously NOLA, NOLA as opposed to Nova, so it's like,
oh my gosh,
yeah.
So okay,
better food in New Orleans than there is in DC. I'll say that.
But are there food trucks that come to the front of the building?
No, there isn't. I wish there was.
Yeah.
One of the critiques I did hear on a podcast in general, this wasn't about any game system, it just the venue in New Orleans was a little bit more confusing, which it was. It was also right next to the New Orleans Saints Stadium, and there was a game Sunday, which was all types of exciting.
No.
I mean, you could take an Uber pretty reliably to anywhere you wanted to go in the French Quarter, because that's kind of where we were at. But yeah,
hold on to your phones.
But the hotel. The hotel staff kind of let the event down. Like, they weren't really prepared to serve that many people, it felt like. Their service was slow. Their food really wasn't fantastic. Like, I waited 10 minutes to get a crappy beer I didn't even want. Like, I was like, I'll get it. I was like, worst case, I'll drink a Miller Lite. Doesn't bother me. And then, like 10 minutes later, I ended up with a Bud Light, and it cost $4. And I was just like, I don't even... like, what the hell?
I mean, it makes you feel any better. At NashCon, we one of the times we had to eat at there's like a little restaurant in the hotel, and like, man, service was so slow.
Yeah,
prices were so high, portions were so small.
Yeah, it's like, I expect the prices to be high, but you know when the event's going to happen. It's like, you think you'd be able to staff up or try to staff up. I get that sometimes it's hard, but it was pretty bad in New Orleans for the hotel staff. But when I went out, all the places I went when I went out were fantastic. Great people, great food, great service. Absolutely loved it. So it was definitely a great place to be. Just the hotel, I think, lacked a little bit and cost a lot.
So far.
Thankfully, as an employee, I didn't have to pay for it, but I saw how much that would have cost me. I'm like, ooh.
So far, do you think Nolans is your favorite of the two?
Oh yeah, Orlando. I didn't care to go out. I don't. It's Orlando. I don't care to go out. I stayed inside the hotel.
Well,
Inside Orlando, there was a really nice, actually well serviced and well staffed little. It wasn't a restaurant, but you could order a bunch of takeouts. So like I had a beef Korean bowl. You could get small personal pan pizzas, breakfast. It was very well done, fairly reasonably priced. It was great. In New Orleans, like I said, you went out, but the food was so good out there. It was so worth every penny.
Okay, so let me ask here. So in either event, has there been? I imagine there was room to play the other games like Kill Team, Underworlds, Warcry. Was there any organized play for those?
No, it's just Age of Sigmar and just 40K.
That's surprising.
And then for streaming, well, okay, at the actual storefront, they had set up, especially for Kill Team, since Kill Team's the newest, where they could demo Kill Team for people. So, I mean, great. That's fantastic. And
did they have room for people to play when they weren't in the tournament?
We always set up more tables than we actually sell out for. So there is tables that people want to go play, but most people are coming to these as a destination. So they're coming to play the game that they paid to compete in. So didn't really see anyone using a table outside of that to not play. I think there's a few people that had a rough go. They decided to drop from the event, and they just picked up some friendly casual games on one of the extra tables, which was cool. Not a problem at all. So, but no one was going like, oh man, this is rough. I'm going to drop and just go play Underworlds with my buddies. Like, that didn't happen.
Well, I mean, I think that's, I would love to see that in the future where there's Kill Team tournaments, Warcry tournaments, hell, even Blood Bowl. It'd be real cool is if they could get some people in from Cubicle 7 to help run something organized with Wrath and Glory or Solblon.
Hell yeah. They said, even, like I said, being the first year, that's the type of stuff. If people want to see that stuff on feedback, definitely talk about it, bring it up. But yeah, like even right now, there's only 40K streaming. In Austin, we're getting a plan in place to at least where myself or John or someone else will be able to go over to the stream table, give them updates, talk briefly about what's going on in Age of Sigmar. Here's the top tables. But there's not going to be a stream for Age of Sigmar until next year is what it's looking like. And a big part of that is the two gentlemen, Nick Nanavati and the Paul Murphy, TPM, trademark, who do the 40K streaming. I mean, they are fantastic at what they do. It's very entertaining streams, but those two guys know 40K. That's what they live and breathe. So having them try and talk about a 40K game, you'd be like, why am I watching it? Like, you complain about, why am I watching this? They don't know what they're talking about. So instead of bringing you a hey, there's a little spider. It's dropping from the ceiling. I'm in. Hello, basement. Yeah, he's fine.
Like, comment, subscribe for Spider.
Yay! Gloom Spike gets Gloom coming.
But again, at the same time, though,
they're just they have some people in mind that they want to get for next year to be able to provide the same caliber of stream for Age of Sigmar.
That's really weird. They didn't reach out to me at all about any of that. So
well, they said next year. All right, I'm gonna try and get this. Matt, fill time. I'm trying to get this spider.
Yeah. So I mean, as far as that goes, I still think it's weird that, I mean, I understand why they chose the three cities that they did. But at the same time, they are now putting into precedent, like, next year there's going to be an Orlando, New Orleans, and Austin.
I don't believe that's the case. I believe it's likely that they'll change the venues each and every year, with the exception of the Invitational probably being at either Los Angeles or Grapevine for their flagship stores. But I don't...
It should be in the dead center of the country.
What was that?
Which I think is somewhere like
Colorado?
In Kansas, I believe.
Okay, Colorado, Kansas?
No, Colorado's a little high.
Okay. But...
Well, northwest. A little northwest.
Yeah, I don't think it's... I mean, maybe you'll see like New Orleans again, because New Orleans was a good one. Or maybe, I mean, Austin's going to sell out. Actually, Austin is the only one that's 100% sold out. So if we show up to Austin and every table's full, then you'll probably see Austin again next year. But I don't.
Also,
it's not hard. It's not hard and fast.
Yeah. The other thing is, like, I would like to see these announced nowish. Like sometime Q4 for the next year, because like one of the reasons why I didn't go to these is because I was booked.
Right.
I'd already planned to go everywhere across the country. So when it came time for 3 more tournaments, I was like, I can't, especially whenever it's so much travel.
Right. No, I understand. I think they could get better at that, but also, keep in mind their new events and, they're trying to establish themselves, so they don't really have the rapport that the usual events have.
Yeah.
Like Nova always has the same hotel, Adepticon has the same hotel, so they kind of can predict and have that sort of stuff. Now it's a new world until they get like a rhythm going with these new events. Now, that said, Mike Brandt's a really good people person and he's really good at negotiations, so I have a feeling that he'll just improve better and better as, the world stabilizes again. So
yeah, that's one of the things is if anyone that did go that has some grumbles or groans, as an old anime cosplay goer, year one tournament or year one conventions are always rough.
mm-hmm.
No matter how much experience you have, no matter how many other tournaments and how many other events you've run, the first year is always rough. So, this seems like something, especially if Mike Brandt's on board. He's never going to rest until it's exactly what he wants.
Oh, 100%. And it's going to be great. So we just hope everyone keeps supporting it, coming out. We'll keep doing our best to make it better and better. And yeah. Oh, I haven't talked about it. I got a few right here. The one thing I do like is the way they handled the packs. So I got it right here. So for each event, there's a pack that has the basic rules and the scenarios you're playing, and also the basic core battle tactics for Age of Sigmar. So handy little reference guide.
Which I love.
Yeah, handy little reference guide. It's a cool way to do it. It becomes like a souvenir on top of actually just a pack that you like. I save all the packs from all the events I attend, but some of them are just paper.
Yeah,
these are really cool. I'll get used to the battle pack cards after the fact. Also, it even has the times in there saying this is when this round begins. This is when this is lunch. Like all that great stuff. So, yeah, I just love it, and I I wish it was spiral bound instead of just loose cards. But whatever. We'll get there eventually.
we're good.
Yeah. But no, yeah, I think that kind of covers everything I wanted to talk about, like for these two events. I do want to lament the fact that I wasn't able to attend ACO or NashCon with you guys. ACO was just out of the cards for me, period. And NashCon I intended fully to go, and then I came back from work travel next in Orlando, US Open, and I got sick. So
yeah,
and it was kind of like one of those, am I sick? I can't tell if I'm sick. I should probably just not go. And I'm glad I didn't because I got sick.
Yeah. Yeah.
But no, it was a good time. Oh, do you still have my NashCon dice? Because didn't you pick those up for us that I paid for? Did you grab those?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. I don't even know how many I bought.
I don't remember either, but I do have them.
If you give me 2, I'll be happy.
No, there was I forget exactly how many it was. Maybe 6. So I don't know.
Yeah,
we'll figure it out.
Yeah,
it's in my backpack. So.
I know. I just popped in my mind literally right now. I'm like, oh, must get those from you.
Yeah.
But
you are coming up for the tournament Sunday, right?
I am coming up Sunday. Fabricators Forge. Bill Souza is the main man organizing that. From everything I've seen, he has a little help.
What are you bringing?
Oh, I'm bringing Blades of Corn.
Blades of Corn.
Blades of Corn.
Nice.
I just want to.
Can I grudge you? Can I grudge you round one?
You absolutely can. I want to just get Scarbrand into some shit. Like that's all I want. I have my new narrative hero, Dua Lipina, that I created not too long ago, off of Dua Lipa. So like I want to just get some Blood Tithe points and have some fun.
It actually just dawned on me today that.
Oh, you're playing Stormcast, aren't you?
That was the plan, but I can't do that because I forgot that I haven't even started building my chariot yet.
You can build that by Sunday.
Well, the problem is
I mean, it's an RTT. I definitely don't need to have it painted.
I know, but I at least want it assembled, and I'm going to do that in sub-assemblies. So.
Oh, well, just put something else in.
Sons it is. Because one thing
I'd rather take Blades of Corn against your Sons than against Stormcast. So sure, we can grudge now. This might be my only win of the day.
I doubt that one, but the so this will be the first time that I've actually played Sons since the White Dwarf came out. So now I'll be able to get battalions.
Oh, that's right. I'll grudge you. We can do this. But yeah, Blades of Corn. That's what I'm gonna be taking. I want to try and win one. My goal is to win one game of 3.
My goal will be to see if I can get 2 wins in a row.
In a row.
2 tournament wins in a row because I won the last one.
That's right, you did. You took that out of the park, and that was after your ACO heartbreaks.
Yeah, yeah. And like again, it was, it was. I brought a rock to our friend Okami's scissor game, and and then we fought our other buddy who also had sons but had no intention of winning.
Oh,
And then
feel bad for Okami because I did the same thing to him with my daughter's bow snake list the tournament before. He had KO and I remember top of one, he's just like, I can't kill Marathi right away, so I'll ignore her. I'm like, you don't want to do that.
yeah.
But
and then of course the last one I had though there was against my buddy Ben that is he's been playing Lumineth a lot.
mm-hmm.
And oh man, when I saw those Lumineth go down the table, sweating bullets, man. But yeah, so we'll see. I mean, he's a really good player, and that was a really good list. So,
all right, so Suns it is, and
maybe if Bill's not playing, there's a chance.
Well, right now because I signed up, Bill is playing. So there's
Okay,
13.
so we
I
need
became
one
the
more
14th.
person.
Yeah.
If you're in the greater Pennsylvania area, sign up.
Or even in Eastern Ohio.
If you're in the Northeast,
That'll be fine. It'll be
come
fine.
come on down.
It'll be fine. Like I said, Blades Corn. Gonna take it. Maybe.
In the ass.
Woo, yeah. Hey, blood tithe is a blood tithe. I'll take it. But yeah, no, it's looking forward to Austin. Looking forward to actually our next regular recorded show with a new format change. Maybe in the next couple weeks, so maybe we'll get a double episode out, essentially back to back, before we get another Big M's Power Hour out.
Well, we'll see. I mean, the next couple weeks is going to be the next Power Hour. I mean, it's first Friday of every month eventually.
Yeah, we'll get there. But yeah, I hope everybody is doing well out there, and I hope you're exercising and painting models and staying Stormcast strong. You can say goodbye, Matt.
Double Tournament Daddy.